regular expressions has a number of special characters, and sometimes they don't span two items, such as first type in the forward slash and then type in the W. Sometimes they are simply one item or one thing that we need to type. So it needs to be said that it's very, very rare that when we are searching or doing a study that we want to look for words of a particular length, such as a word that has 4 letters followed by an E with a written accent. Normally, we want to look for words that are either have one character or more, or another way of saying that is one or more characters. And so what we do is we add a quantifier after some sequence to indicate that we want one or more of that. So for instance, this sequence here, O followed by a plus, that looks for the letter O, and then we quantify how many O's we want. What this plus here means is we want one or more. So an O followed by a plus sign would look for one or more O's, or a word that has one or more O's. And so I did this search here, O followed by a plus, and what came up were 2 matches. First, simply the word O, because this quantifier can mean one or more, so all the words that simply had an O in it fell into that range. But also, someone in this corpus wrote or said O, and the transcriber wrote several O's after it. So this word here that has 6 O's, that still matches the criterion of I'm looking for an O followed by one or more O's after that. And this was the result right there. Oftentimes you won't come up with anything, simply an O. But other times you might come up with another O. There it is again. So let's take this concept one step further. If we wanted to look for an upside down question mark, and we wanted to look for sequences that had one or more of those upside down question marks, we could do that. And we would certainly come up with a number of times that the upside down question mark was all by itself. But this could also give us a result such as this. Or, because that's still one or more, that's still one or more, that's still one or more. If the transcriber had, or someone writing, if there's a written corpus, had produced that particular sequence. But it doesn't seem to come up. In that search, none of them showed up. There are 33. Now we can take this one step further to a very, very important concept. If you think about it, that sequence right there is any character. If you wrote the sequence any character followed by the quantifier plus, which means one or more, then that would mean at a very mathematical level, a word that has one or more characters. In other words, this is simply shorthand in regular expressions for saying any word, because any word is made up of one or more characters, to state the obvious. So we could do that. And that would give us a bunch of words. Words that have one letter in them, but words that have more than one letter. Sometimes they have two, sometimes they have three. For instance, let's say we wanted to look for the word de, of, followed by any word. We could do that. And all the matches down here would probably give us de followed by some word. There we got de la, de los, de que, but also we have some other words or sequences that came up in this search, such as de acuerdo, de buenos. So this character right there, or that sequence I should say, the /W followed by a plus is a shorthand way in regular expressions of saying any word. We could say de followed by two words and see what's the most common. De lo que, and then de la república. We'll do another search. Probably de la república won't show up, but maybe de lo que will again at the top. And there it is again. De lo que is second highest, etc. So just to recap, this sequence here is very powerful. It means any word by virtue of the fact that the /W means any character and the plus means one or more of whatever comes before it. So it's saying give me one or more of any character, which means any word.